So, all right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Eloisa Amado Romero. I'm an outreach and recruitment counselor at Cal State Fullerton. This session is being recorded. I am so happy to be here with you from, my room. So welcome to my room. But I know many of you are safe at home. I hope all is going well. I would love to be in your campus at Santana College, but unfortunately with the situation we're in right now, it's not good right now. But I'm more than happy to answer any of the questions that you have. Hopefully this gives you a better understanding of Cal State Fullerton's highlights and at the same time requirements. Things are changing rapidly with just the requirements and admissions for required for admissions. So this is just up to today. And if you have any questions, please use the Q&A section that is located on the bottom of your screen. So you're more than happy to, I will be more than happy to answer any of your questions. All right, so I'm gonna get started. So Cal State Fullerton, just to give you a little more information, Cal State Fullerton is part of the California, part of 23 different campuses. And it's part of the California Master Plan. It's one of the largest four-year public universities in the nation, and it drives California. So one out of 10 employees in California are graduates from a CSU. Awards half of the state's baccalaureate degrees. Our mission through the CSU is to provide opportunity and access to higher education. So as you can see, Southern California, right, has more schools than Northern California. So Southern California has more schools because there's a bigger population, especially in the LA area, or you can see like in San Francisco area, there's a bigger population of students in comparison to Humboldt State, right? There's not a lot of a big population of people. So we want to create opportunity and access to higher education. This is just to give you a visual of the 23 different campuses that we have. Northern California, we have Chico, East Bay, Humboldt, Maritime Academy, Sacramento, San Francisco, Sonoma, and San Jose. Just real quick tip about Maritime Academy is that you actually have to travel in a ship in order for you to complete your bachelor's degree. I don't know how they're doing it right now with the online learning or, staying at home things that were occurring. But when things go back to normal, that is one of the requirements that you have to like travel with the ship. So it's really cool about it. In terms of Central California, we have Bakersfield, Fresno, Monterey Bay, San Luis Obispo, and Stanislaus. Southern California, we have Channel Islands, Dominguez Hills, Fullerton, Long Beach, Los Angeles, Northridge, Pomona, San Bernardino, San Diego, and San Marcos. So what we offer at the CSUs, we offer bachelor's degrees, credential programs, master's programs, and doctoral programs. So all of you that are at the community college right now, what's the difference between transferring, right? Well, all of you are getting an associate's degree or you're working towards a transferable degree that you can get into a bachelor's degree. So once you get your bachelor's degree, you can apply to a credential program. And then you don't have to get a credential program to apply to a master's program. You can go from the bachelor's to the master's. But if you're thinking of going into teaching, then the teaching credentials is a great program to go into Cal State Fullerton. But the credential program, you do need a bachelor's degree in order for you to apply for the credential program. So who are we, right? Who is Cal State Fullerton? So we were founded in 1957. We were the 12th CSU established, and we started with a class of 452 students. Now we have over 40,000 students currently at Cal State Fullerton. So we have grew a lot. We are a Division I school in 15 different sports, from soccer to basketball, baseball. And our mascot is Tuffy the Titan. And the reason why we have a elephant as a mascot is because a long time ago, there was an elephant race that happened on campus. And since that day, we were recognized as, to be recognized as Titans. And we recognize as a mascot to be an elephant. We are located in Orange County. We're the only Cal State located in Orange County. We're 7 miles from Disneyland and about 22 miles from Los Angeles. We're super close to Santana, so I'm pretty sure you all have seen us when you drive on the 57 freeway. Unique majors, we have a bachelor's in fine arts. We have a music theater major, international business. We also have a bachelor's degree to a master's degree in computer engineering. So it's like a bridge program. And then we also have a direct entry into the nursing program. So students, freshmen that are coming in, they go directly into the nursing program. They don't have to do pre-nursing. So our nursing program is very, very competitive. We have 8 academic colleges, 110 degrees to choose from. As of fall 2018, we enrolled 39,000 students. Our average age is 24. Its average age is 24. The reason why is because we're a commuter school, so we also have a big transfer population. So most of our transfer students are a little bit older. So it averages out, right? And then our graduating class as of 2018 was 274,000 students. We have 31 buildings, and right now, unfortunately, our campus is, closed because of what's occurring in the world. But we hope to open soon, and you can see our beautiful campus. In terms of our top transfer majors, we have business administration, communication, child and adolescent studies, psychology, and sociology. Okay, we are number 1 in the CSU to graduate Latinas. We're number 4 in the nation to award baccalaureate degrees to underrepresented students. And we're actually number 6 in the nation to enroll transfer students. So we're actually pretty high up there. And we have been ranked in many different publications for best buck for your education. In terms of campus resources, we do have a diversity initiatives and resource centers, which is composed of 5 different resources. We have the Chicano Latina, the Asian American, the African American Resource Center, the LGBTQ, and then also the Titan Dreamers Resource. We're actually the first ones throughout the CSU to actually open a full Dreamer Center to provide resources for our Dreamer students. And then we have an Equal Opportunity EOP, which many of you know as EOPSA. EOP, it's helpful, but it's mainly focused for our first 2 years. So when you transfer, I encourage students to apply to EOP, but if you don't get it, it's okay, because you might have other resources that you can get as a transfer student. We also have a writing center, and then we have over 350 clubs and organizations as well. I know everything right now is online, so it must be hard to join a club, but once everything comes back to, normal in a sense, we hope to be able to have a great student body life that is very, very active. So I have a question. It says, when do I enroll in EOP? You will enroll in EOP when you do the application, and we can talk a little bit more about that. But when you submit your application, it's going to ask you if you are interested in being part of EOP, and then they will ask you for additional support. Okay. All right. And I will have a Q&A section at the end. So if I didn't answer all your questions, I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. If you can just please use the Q&A, that would be great. In terms of study abroad right now, because we can't, really travel, but I just wanted to share that because if hopefully when you transfer over, we do have the back to normal situation. We have over 40 different countries or 128 different cities where you can study abroad. It's a great experience. I never did it, but I heard it from many different people. I did have a friend that had the Washington, D.C. internship, and now she's working with a congresswoman right now because she did the Washington, D.C. internship and she wanted to get involved in politics. So it's a great opportunity for you to network, build relationships and, after graduation, get an actual job, right? We also have the Tucker Wildlife Sanctuary and the Visual and Performing Arts Center right there in Santana. and then also in Garden Grove. We have also the graduation initiatives. We want to make sure that once you transfer over, you are graduating. So you're graduating, in a timely manner. So we have TOEFL graduation scholars. We also have TOEFL basic needs. So TOEFL basic needs is if for some reason you are needing some type of additional support in terms of food or like clothing or, like toothpaste or anything like that, you can just go to TOEFL Basics Needs and they can provide any type of additional support without questioning why you need it, right? It's a really cool center. It's very, very private, and students can just go in there and obtain any type of support they need. We also have the student success teams. The student success teams are really interesting and they're really, really cool. And each college has its own unique student success teams. And the reason why is because we want to make sure that you are being successful within your college. So your college, you have a dean, and then you also have an assistant dean that is part of the student affairs side. The assistant deans are the ones that are in charge of the student success teams. And they, they also help you with any type of additional support that you might need within the classroom or outside the classroom. If you're struggling financially or if you're struggling with something at home, they can also provide additional support. And then we're also doing a campaign right now called Choose 15. If you enroll in 15 units, most likely you will graduate in 2 years. Remember, when you're transferring with 60 units. So in order for you to obtain a degree, you have to obtain it in, you have to complete about between 120 to 150. So if you take 15 units a semester, then you will actually graduate in 2 years and, start getting your job and stuff like that. So I know this is like the hot topic of the day, right? Like, what are the requirements? So I wanted to share these requirements. Like I said, everything's changing as of today, May 19, 2020. These are our requirements that are occurring here at Cal State Fullerton. So you have to be in good academic standing, have 60 transferable units. Out of those 60 transferable units, 30 have to be part of the 30 have to be part of the general education classes. And 4 of those classes that you take have to be part of oral, the golden 4, what we call them, which is oral communication, written communication, critical thinking, and math. And then also you have to meet up your GPA cutoff. I put ADT right there because ADT is a plus. It's not a requirement, but if you do the associate degree for transfer, ADT, it will give you a couple of benefits. So if you are graduating from Santana and you have taken most of your classes from Santana College, then you will be considered our local student. But if for some reason you took some classes at, Riverside Community College, and then most of your classes are from Riverside Community College and some of them from Santana, then that means that you will be considered a student from Riverside Community College because most of your classes are from over there. But if you finish the ADT at Santana College, then that will give you local status for students that are transferring to Cal State Fullerton. And why is it important to have a local status? The reason why it's important is because local GPA is lower than out of local GPA. Because remember, we want to create access to students that are part of our community first. And then we go back and we help students that are part of our outer local area. So the other benefit of the ADT is it gives you a boost on your GPA. So if you were to have a 2.5, it will give you a 2.7 if you do the ADT. Some of the ADTs, it's really tricky to understand the ADT, and I really encourage you to talk to an academic advisor. The reason why is because you have to check if the ADT will transfer. So if you're doing an ADT in business and then you transfer to Cal State Fullerton for English, so your ADT will not match and it will not really help you. So you need to make sure that the ADT matches. And the way that you do that is you go to, you can do a Google search of ADT CSU to a CSUF, and it will give you like a search to see if Santana's ADT will transfer to Cal State Fullerton's ADT. The other thing about the ADT is they will help you graduate in 2 years. as long as you continue to have that same major. So I talked a little bit about GPA. So like I mentioned, we do give a priority to our local students. So last year's GPA was a 2.7 and our local was a 2.9. This GPA is based on the application pool that is coming in. So we have had cases where our GPA for our local students is at a 3.0 and our local is 3.5. So just be aware, right? Try to always reach higher because we don't know what the GPA will look like until that application cycle comes in. In terms of majors with additional requirements, criminal justice, if you're thinking of doing a criminal justice, you just need to have criminal justice 101. That's the additional requirement. In terms of dance and music, you have to do an addition once you have transferred to Cal State Fullerton. And for nursing, you do need to have the associate degree for nursing in order for you to apply to the bachelor's degree in nursing. Okay, we talked a little bit about impaction. So if you are a transfer student that's coming from a community college within Orange County, you will be considered our local student. But if you were transferring from Riverside, right, or from LA, you'll be considered ADA local. Remember we talked about giving access to students that are part of our community. So Orange County community colleges will be part of our local area. The way you apply, you go to Cal State Apply, and you go to calstate.edu/apply. Our application cycle always opens October 1st to November 30th. That's for the fall. So if you're going to be finishing with your degree at Santana College on spring 2021, and you want to transfer to Cal State Fullerton for fall 2021, then this October and this November, you have to apply to Cal State Fullerton as a transfer student, okay? We might, I don't want to guarantee, but we might be open for spring. And this is not a for sure thing because we haven't heard from admissions. But if you are going to be finished with your degree on fall 2020, this fall 2020, and you would like to transfer for spring 2021 to Cal State Fullerton, then you will have to apply, if we're open, between August 1st through the 31st on the same website, Cal State Apply, calstate.edu/apply. The other benefit of the Cal State Apply is that it has a lot of different resources. So you can go in and explore campus, choosing a campus, choosing a degree, getting into a CSU, how to pay for school. So it's really, really beneficial to look at this website and see the different opportunities that they have to offer. So cost of attendance, just tuition and fee itself, it's about almost $7,000 a year. Okay, this is the cost of attendance for 2020 to 2021. So tuition and fees is just about $7,000. So $6,956. And of course, if you were living on campus, then it would be a little more expensive. And if you were living off campus, the same thing than if you were living at home. This is just an estimate, right? So books and supplies, depending what types of books do you have, miscellaneous, room and board, transportation, right? But just tuition itself, it's about $7,000 a year. I don't want to scare anyone, right? But we do have a lot of different financial resources. So if you are a resident of California or a U.S. citizen, you can apply for FAFSA. And if you are a Dreamer, undocumented student, or DACA student, you can apply for the California Dream Act if you meet the California Dream Act requirements. Both applications open October 1st and they close March 2nd. March 2nd is the priority deadline. So even if you miss the March 2nd deadline, you can still apply now. You might not get as much funding as if you were applied to March 2nd, but you'll still get a little bit of more support. So just even if you haven't applied, you can still apply now. In terms of unique scholarships, we have the Abergo Future Scholars, Guardian Scholars, President Scholars, and Veteran Scholars. Abergo Future Scholars, if you're a first-gen low income, you can apply to the Abergo Future Scholars. This is just for our transfer students, freshmen and transfer students, but you have to apply before you get admitted to the university. So the application, I believe, opens between February and it closes around March. But just go to Cal State, just Google Abrego Future Scholars, and you're going to be able to find out more information about that. And then we have Guardian Scholars. Guardian Scholars, if you have been part of the foster care system, then we also provide resources for you as well. President Scholars is just for freshmen, but Veteran Scholars is also for students that have been veterans themselves, or they have family members that have been veterans. So if your mom or dad or they have done service, then you can probably apply for the Veteran Scholars. And then we have so many different other scholarships. If you were just to Google CSUF scholarships, a whole list of scholarships will come up. And I always encourage students to apply because you never know if you will get the scholarships, right? Sometimes the scholarship is just sitting there. The money's just sitting there, and people don't really, because nobody applies, it's just sitting there. So I know our campus is closed right now, but we want to encourage you to please come to our campus virtually. So if you want to scan this on your phone, so we are doing campus virtual tours, and you can do it, or you can set up an appointment, not an appointment, but you can actually set up a tour soon to have a guided tour, like a tour guide, right? Provide you the tour, like with the explanations and everything like that. So you just have to go to our website, fullerton.edu/tours, to sign up for any tours that are occurring on our campus right now. So you'll be still at home, right? Because it's virtually, but you actually have like a talk tour and talk to a current student that has gone through, a current student, Cal State Fullerton student, that can share their information and, their experiences at the school. And then I just wanted to share the CSUF bound that we have been doing. I know there's like a mixed audience right now in our people that are attending this webinar. I know that some of you already have been accepted. Some of you are thinking of transferring. Some of you are, just wondering why should I transfer to Cal State Fullerton? But this is a good information to have. The virtual CSUF bound is just a webinar series that we have been creating just to provide additional support. So you're going to be able to see webinars from financial aid, webinars about how to accept your offer, webinars about how to be an online student, how to be a productive online student, student life and leadership. So we have a lot of different webinars. So definitely check them out, right? And if you can't scan it, it's just fullerton.edu/welcome day. And then this is our information. We're Outreach and Recruitment. Our email is csuf.oral@fullerton.edu. But if you want to reach us, please definitely make sure that you can email us, or you can send us you can give us a phone call. We're not on campus, but if you leave a voice message, we can definitely get back to you as soon as possible. So now we're going to do Q&As. So I now have a couple of questions. So I have one that says, since the school is closed, is the admissions office receiving mail? I have sent them official transcripts that it's on paper. Yes, somebody's still going to campus to pick up mail. But in terms of sending like transcripts, we hope that you can send your official transcripts through your community college by doing it online. Yes, you can still send them by mail, but we prefer to send them by email, by online. And then, but yeah, somebody still is picking up the mail. There's still somebody going on campus. And then another question, so if the question is, when will we know if we got accepted? So if you apply for fall 2021, the timeline looks like that next April 1st, you should be notified if you got accepted, waitlisted, or denied. So you should know if you've been accepted by April of the following year after you apply. If you apply for spring and you apply between August 1st to the 31st, then you should be notified by before November. The other question was when and how to enroll into EOP. I think I talked a little bit about this, but you enroll in EOP when you apply for the university. In the Cal State Apply application, you can actually select multiple schools. So you can apply, it was just one application. Each school that you apply to, it's $70 unless you receive the fee waiver. So do your research, right? You don't want you to be applying to all 23 campuses and be paying a lot of money, but you can actually apply into EOP when you do the application. I'm sorry, when you submit the Cal State Apply application. All right, we have a question about orientation. So if you are a current student right now that will be attending, if you're an admitted student that will be attending Cal State Fullerton in the fall, orientation is going to be a three-step process. So please check your email. I know there was an email sent out yesterday. Unless you're a business student, I believe the business students are going to be getting a separate email. But check your email and then also go to fullerton.edu/orientation to see the three-step process you need to submit in order for you to register for do orientation. Orientation will be online, and as a transfer student, I believe orientation is open up, I believe June 18. But if not, just check the website and it will tell you when orientation will meet. But there's a three-step process, which is also meeting with an academic advisor. We have another question that says, when will we get notified if we got selected for EOP? EOP is a whole different admissions process. So if you got selected for EOP, you should be also notified before April of the term that you applied to. So if you didn't hear back from EOP, then I would encourage you to contact EOP admissions and ask them if there's any, what happened to your application, if there's anything that you were missing or anything like that, that they can look up your application itself. All right, so we have another question. I have a question that says, we used to be accepting transferable units from the AP Spanish and Culture. The exam will be this Friday. Yes, we will still be accepting AP courses. If you pass the AP exam with a 3 or better, we will still give you credit for those. Somebody asked, that's for spring. I'm sorry, I don't know what the question was. So if you can retype that question, I believe it was Erica, that would be really appreciated. And then, so somebody asked about the CSUF campus being impacted by COVID-19 and having to take 48 units. So that's up to the discretion of each campus. So right now, Cal State Fullerton, this is from my understanding, right now, if you have taken any classes during winter 2020, spring 2020, or summer 2020, you can actually submit those classes to be pass, no pass. So if you're taking a very difficult course, you can actually switch it, and it became even more difficult online. You can actually switch the course to be pass, no pass, and we will actually take that pass, no pass into consideration, and we give you credit for it. In terms of the 48 units, it's case by case basis, depending on the limitation. So if for some reason you didn't pass, you're taking 12 units right now in the spring, and you didn't pass one of the classes, you can retake that class in the summer, and we'll still give you credit for that class. But yeah, it's case by case basis. So if for some reason the student's saying that if you have less than 60 units and you cannot take summer school, or even if you take summer school, you still will have less than 60 units, I will advise you to contact admissions as soon as possible and let them know your situation and see what they tell you, because we would love to, right, accept everybody, but admissions has its own protocols and procedures. So like I said, it will do case by case basis depending on what classes you're missing. Okay, so we have a question about receiving an orientation email to do a major advising appointment. So if you check the email, I believe all the way in the bottom, you should be able to click on the advising appointment. If not, go to fullerton.edu/orientation and you should be able to select your major, and then it will give you the step-by-step process of how to meet with a major advisor. I would encourage you to do it as soon as possible because I know people is filling up really quickly. So try to do it today. And if not, then reach out to orientation@fullerton.edu and they can provide more resources on how to do the academic advising appointment. So we have a question of how can we meet with a counselor? What kind of counselor were you looking for, Alma? Just so I can give you point you to a good direction of which kind of counselor you're looking for. So if you can just add it to the chat, that would be really appreciated. Yes, so tuition is about $7,000 per year. So it's about, $3,400 per semester. And then we do offer financial aid and scholarships as well. So orientation, someone anonymous asked, how do you register for orientation? So orientation is going to be online, and for transfer students, it's going to be an online module you have to complete. And like I mentioned earlier, it's going to be a 3-step process. So please make sure you check your emails. I know there was an email sent out yesterday about how to fill up on how to register for orientation and how to do those 3 steps. And at the same time, go to the website fullerton.edu/orientation to see what other requirements you might have to do for orientation. Remember, orientation is still mandatory and it's going to cost $20, but it is going to be online. So we have a question about any deadlines that we should keep an eye out for. Yes, the deadline for final transcript is coming up, I believe is July 15th. So make sure you keep an eye on that. And I think other than orientation, those are the 2 main deadlines that you should be aware of. So we had a question about, is it possible to get a bachelor's degree in a credential program at the same time? Unfortunately, from my knowledge at Cal State Fullerton, you do need to have a bachelor's degree in order for you to apply to the credential program. If you are thinking of doing a teaching credential, I would encourage you to contact the Center for Careers in Teaching just to meet with an advisor and see what options you have. Our teaching credential at Cal State Fullerton is only 1 year. So as soon as you're done with a bachelor's degree, you can definitely go to the teaching credential right away. So talk to a Center for Careers in Teaching advisor and see what they can offer for you. So we have another question for orientation, and make sure you keep checking your emails. I believe orientation for transfer students is going to be opening up in June 18, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Okay, we have a lot of questions about orientation. I'm going to actually do something else to cover those questions. So I'm just going to go down the list and try to answer any other questions. But so if you have a question about orientation, don't leave. I'm going to show you a different way to check for orientation. If you send your transcript a while back, your TDA will not, your training degree audit will not be available until the fall. So until you completed all your classes, the TDA will be constantly changing. Your TDA, your training degree audit, so it will give you like which classes you need to take for your major. So as soon as like fall comes in, you should have the most updated TDA. So as soon as your final transfers come in, that's when your TDA will be the most updated too. Yeah, there is a way you can contact admissions over the phone. You just have to leave them a voicemail if you want to contact admissions over the phone, and they'll get back to you. So they're asking about the July 15th deadline for final transcripts. You just have to submit your final transcripts by that day. So that's like a deadline for almost all the CSUs. So somebody's asking that they want to double major in accounting and in finance. They can do that. It's going to take you a little bit longer. So for housing, somebody's asking a question about housing. Housing is first come, first serve basis. So if you are looking to be in housing, we encourage you to register now, even if campus will be closed for the fall, just so you can have a foot on the door. But if for some reason we don't open for fall, like to live on campus, then from my understanding, everything will be refunded to you. But for more questions about that, please contact housing at housing@fullerton.edu, and they can answer any questions. All right, so I'm gonna actually, give me 1 second, because we have a lot of questions about orientation. So I wanna clarify most of your questions. All right, so I'm actually gonna share my screen so you can see the orientation page. So like I said before, for orientation, you should all have received an email unless you were a business administration major. But if you were not business administration, you should all have received an email yesterday of how to register for classes. If you go through that email, you should be able to click on the links of how to register for an academic advisor. I'm not part of orientation, so I'm trying my best to create resources for you all. But this is what the orientation website looks like. So the step one, remember I said it was a 3-step process. For step one, freshmen and transfer students, they have to select with an academic major advisor. So depending what college you are part of, so if you're part of the humanities and social sciences, so if you are Chicano studies or English, history, anything of those colleges, College of Humanities and Social Sciences, then you will actually click in that link and it will help you with the registration for your advising. Okay, now, so once you have, once you have selected your college, once you met with an academic advisor, this is from my understanding, okay? So once you have met with that, then you would just have to go to complete the online program. It says, please complete the mandatory online orientation. 1 step and 2 are completed. So once you have met both step 1 and 2, then you would just have to log into to meet the transfer module, which will be available June 18. So June 18 will be when the transfer module will be available for you all as a transfer student. And I believe you have a couple of days to go through that process. I think somebody asked if you are a transfer student, do you have to skip number 2? No, I think step number 2, you still have to do it for transfer students. You would just have to click here. So if you go back to the top, right, step number 1 is select the college. If you don't know what college you're applying to or you apply to, right, because you don't know where your major qualifies under, I would encourage you to go to your portal, and then it will tell you what your major is and what college you're part of. So once you have selected that college, you will it will give you a kind of like an appointment to meet with an academic advisor. For example, if you're human services, you will be under College of Health or Human Development. So if I click here, it will send me to this page, right? And it will give you all this information about the college itself. So, and then once you have done step 1, then you will have to do step 2. So for you all transfer students, you will have to meet with a general education advising for transfer students only. Once you have done step 2, then you can do step 3. So just to answer some of your questions, you have until June 18 to do step 1 and 2, because then by June 18, this is when it goes live and you can start accessing it after June 18. So I hope that answers the questions for orientation. If not, you can definitely reach out to orientation. Just email orientation@fullerton.edu, and they will be able to answer any details. I know there are actually some webinars coming up for orientation, so you can even watch those webinars as well, and they can also provide you additional support. In terms of the other 3-step process, so if you see here on the top, it says, please complete the following steps to satisfy your advising and orientation requirements. Step 1 will be major advising course registration sessions. Sessions are available on the first come, first served basis. Steps 2 will be general education advising modules. No appointments necessary starting June 1st. Completing at least the 3 days prior to your major advising session to avoid having registration holds stop you from getting your classes. Reminder, participants in the virtual major advising and registration sessions is scheduled to based on reservation. And then last one, step 3 will be completing an online orientation module. Okay. Any other questions? So we have a question about financial aid and disbursement. So if you apply for financial aid before March 2nd, you can go to your student portal and check out your financial aid offers. You can check out your awards. Grants will be done automatically, and then your loans, you do have to go in there and accept your loans. If you haven't seen any financial aid awards, or you're still waiting to hear back, I would encourage you to contact the Office of Financial Aid at financialaid@fullerton.edu, and they can provide more additional support. Just make sure you add your full name, your campus-wide ID, and then also the questions that you have. Yeah, so we have a great question for international students. It says, is there a chance for international students to be hired and work part-time on campus? Yes, that's a question for international students office. Depending on your visa, I know there are some limitations depending on the visa that you have, but please contact the Office of International students, and they can give you additional information. Because like I said, depending on the visa, that's what's going to give you limitations to apply for working on campus or not. All right, any other questions? Anything else I can help you with? Yeah, so how do you get a job on campus? So right now it's a little bit harder, right? Because we're all online. But the way that you can get a job on campus is that you can go to the Career Center and ask them that you're interested in having a job on campus. The other way is that you can just go to a center or our services that we have on campus, and see if they're hiring, right? You can just go ask them as well. If you have federal work study, it's most likely that they're going to offer you jobs. But if you don't, there are some on-campus positions that they don't require federal work study. So you can always be a campus tour. You can work in our office with outreach and recruitment. You can work in our transfer center, but you can work in any department on our campus. And I think the best way to look at is through your portal. I believe you can do a search of student employment in your student portal, and as well as in the career center as well. So we have a question about classes registration starting in the fall. So as soon as you do your orientation module, right? Like as long as you have, if you have, as long as your orientation hold has been relieved, you should be able to register for your fall classes. But I wouldn't, that's from my understanding. I don't know if that's changing, but you should be able to register as long as you have those orientation holds removed. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you so much for being with us this lovely Tuesday afternoon. If you have any questions, please, reach out to me. My name is Eloisa Romero. My email address is eamadorromero@fullerton.edu. Once again, it's eamadorromero@fullerton.edu. And I'll be more than happy to answer any questions or support you in any way that I can. And I hope all you will have a great day. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.